Ladies and gentlemen, I did not think this cathedral of Notre Dame could be saved. It was just in bad shape. When you saw that fire, and then when everything finally cleared and you got even more shots of it, it really was in bad shape. You know, France depending on so much of their money from Africa and all, and the other big part of their money they got from tourism in these old facilities that they had up like this one. Well, don't look like they're going to be using this one. Not unless somebody got some miracle that can save it. I think it's gone. But Notre Dame rector, fragile cathedral, might not be saved. And then there's articles that are saying, 50% chance the structure may not be saved. So those odds are not good, especially when you look at this type of structure that has been there for a long time, 850 years, I think, somewhere around there. The rector of Notre Dame Cathedral says that Paris landmark is still so fragile that there is a 50% chance the structure might not be saved because scaffolding installed before this year's fire is threatening the vaults of the Gothic monument. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think, didn't they say it was the contractors that were really responsible for this fire? I think so. I'm just trying to remember. It has been, a year. Okay. So today it is still not out of danger. So usually they have a Christmas Eve mass normally, which they can't have now. That's done. It will be out of danger when we take out the remaining scaffolding. Today, we can say that there is maybe a 50% chance that it will be saved. There's also a 50% chance of scaffolding falling into the three vaults. As so, you can see the building is still very fragile, he said. So it is. It is. When you saw the aerial shots of it, man, it was a mess. It was really a mess. The 12th century cathedral was under renovation at the time of the accidental April fire. Wasn't that around Easter, y'all? I believe it was. I'm going to have to go back and look at the date, which destroyed its roof and collapsed its spire. With no more roof to keep the massive stone structure stable, the cathedral's surviving vaults are crucial to keeping it standing, but they are vulnerable. Some 50,000 tubes of scaffolding crisscross the back of the edifice, edifice at the time of the fire. Now, I know I saw all that scaffolding up there, and they said those construction workers that were on top of the building working, a lot of them were up there smoking at the time, and they should not have ever been up there smoking. Okay, removing them without causing further problem is one of the toughest parts of the cleanup effort. Man, I looked at some of those pictures of it down on the ground. Ooh, it looks bad. Even today, it really looks bad. You can tell they didn't get to do hardly any work on that thing. And if they did, that work must be invisible because you sure don't see it. We need to remove completely the scaffolding in order to make the building safe. So in 2021, we will probably start the restoration of the cathedral. Once the scaffolding is removed, we need to assess the state of the cathedral, the quantity of stones to be removed and replaced. Wow. Another reason it's too dangerous to host religious services inside Notre Dame. The fire released tons of toxic lead dust. Mm. And authorities are working to clean it up and assess related health risks. I mean, they had all kinds of paintings and everything in there that they can never replace. And artifacts, that's gone for good. Notre Dame symbolism reaches far and wide. Church officials estimate 2 million people from around the world visited the cathedral during the holiday season. Tourists can photograph it from nearby embankments, but they can no longer hear its organs or get a close view of the stone carvings and masterpiece rose windows. Yeah, and they had all the gargoyles around it, if some of you remember. Mm-mm-mm. But its congregation, clergy, and choir are keeping the spirit alive. Discamped Christmas celebrations to the Saint Germain L'Auxerrois Church across from the Louvre Museum instead. Well, y'all, when you look at that structure, it's like many around in that area. There's some, because, I used to live in Europe, and they all have like a part of the cities where you just see all these old structures, and you can tell they've been there for a very long time. And that's the way it is in France. They got all of those places you can tour through around there, old churches, old cathedrals, castles, and all that stuff. And in fact, if you go over there, because I toured a lot of the castles, you can still see the old Moorish coats of armor and figurines of the Moorish family that used to live in the castles. Now, they tried to take as many of that stuff down, but it was so much art that the Moors had accumulated in the 1300 years that they ruled in Europe. It's everywhere. You can still see a lot of it over there, despite the fact they did try to get rid of a lot of it. They couldn't get rid of all of it. It just got to be too much. So they are, I guess they're still hoping to rebuild it, but that's going to be a job and a half. A part of me still think that place is not going to be rebuilt. I'm just telling you, I don't see it. I don't see it. But you can tell me what you think. There's a reason why some of these old structures burn down, you know, and I understand why the country would want it back. Tourism. They got a lot of money out of it for all the years that people toured through there and taking vacations to France. But man, that's over now. It really truly is. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.